Dear students, in this module, under the paper population theories, we will cover the Marxian viewpoint relating to population. Specifically, in this module, we will discuss about the viewpoint on population size and growth, the viewpoint of Marx relating to population size and growth, and the response of Marx to the theory that was given by Malthus relating to population size and population growth. Thus, this module would help us in getting comprehensive understanding about the viewpoint of Marx with regard to population size and growth, and also his response to the theory that was proposed by Malthus. Let us start the discussion with the viewpoint on population size and growth. Since the time immemorial, the population size and the population growth always remained as an important subject for discussion and for expressing viewpoints by the thinkers, scholars and scientists. Historically, many ancient philosophers from various cultures, including China, India, Arab, Greece, either directly or indirectly gave importance to population in their thinking, in their writings and in their views. In line with this, the modern thinkers such as Adam Smith, David Richard and several others also considered population in their writings and in their views, directly or indirectly, with significance given to population related issues. Let us now look at some specific example from India. Kautilya, who is also known as Chanakya, he wrote Arthashastra, which had several principles relating to the state's economy, the political administration, the war strategies, etc. In his Arthashastra, Chanakya mentioned that a large population would be a source of political, economic and military strength of a nation. We should also note here that Chanakya was contemporary of Plato. Thus, Chanakya in his Arthashastra made a mention of population and its relation to political, economic and military strength of the nation. Similarly, the 14th century Arab historian Khaldun documented in his theory of rise and fall that the growth of dense population is generally favorable to the maintenance and increase of imperial power. Thus, Khaldun was of the view that population growth is favorable to maintenance as well as increase of the power of the imperial. Now let us look at the viewpoint of Marx. Karl Marx, who lived between 1818 and 1893, is a German philosopher, and Karl Marx is considered as the founder of modern communism. Karl Marx did not, however, separately propose any theory of population, but his surplus population theory was derived from his theory of communism. Karl Marx gave us the theory of communism, and as part of that, he mentioned elaborately about the surplus population theory. So that can be considered as the viewpoint of Marx relating to population size and growth. Let us now look at the surplus population theory of Karl Marx, adopted from or extracted from his theory of communism. Surplus population is the excess of population that cannot be supported by the production of subsistence. This is the definition of surplus population given by Karl Marx. Karl Marx completely rejected the Malthusian theory. This is because of the belief of Karl Marx that Malthusian theory did not fit in a socialist society. This was the viewpoint of Karl Marx, and he found the limitation of Malthusian theory and its applicability in a socialistic society. Let us look into the views of Karl Marx. According to Karl Marx, there can be no natural or universal law of population, because he believed that always there exists a natural law for population, plants and animals, as long as man do not interfere with them. According to Marxism, the population theories are generally based on the capitalist system of production, but not based on only production without capitalism. Here we have two scenarios. One is the capital system of production. The second one is production without capitalism. So, according to the Marxism, the population theories were giving emphasis to capitalist system of production, but population theories were not considering the production without capitalism. The Marxism viewpoint is that all hardships or difficulties faced by the people are not due to population growth, is faster than the growth of production of subsistence. There is an hypothesis that the mismatch between the population growth and growth of production of subsistence leads to difficulties. In other words, if the population growth is faster or higher than the growth of production of subsistence, it would lead to the hardships and difficulties for the people. That was one hypothesis or one viewpoint. And Marxism considered that this is not true, because the Marxists believed that production of subsistence is influenced by the evils of capitalism, and they also felt that the moment you have communism that emerged from the society, the evils of capitalism would disappear. As a result of that, the production, subsistence and the evils of capitalism's impact on production of subsistence would also disappear. Thus, the Marxists believed that emergence of communism would be the only option to address the issues relating to production, subsistence, and shortfall in production and excessive population. The Marxists also thought that both population growth and prevailing economic system are not independent and both cannot be separated. Let us spend some time here to understand this little in details. According to Marxists, the population growth and the economic system cannot be separated. That means the Marxists believed that population growth and prevailing economic system should be considered as dependent on each other and studied from this viewpoint. The Marxists also thought that poverty as well as unemployment are not because of the rapid population growth. While some thinkers felt that higher population growth would lead to higher levels of poverty and higher levels of unemployment, whereas the Marxists opposed this thinking because they firmly believed that poverty and unemployment were not byproducts of rapid population growth. On the other hand, they felt that the poverty and unemployment are because of the capitalist system of economy, and they also felt that the capitalist system of economy failed to provide jobs and adequate wages to the workers. As a result of these two factors, inadequate wages and inadequate number of job creation, because of these two factors, poverty and unemployment emerge as problems, not because of the population growth in the state or nation. Thus, the Marxists felt that surplus population is a consequence of uneven distribution of wealth, jobs, and opportunities. While some thinkers felt that surplus population is because of rapid population growth, the Marxists felt that surplus population is a result of uneven distribution of wealth, jobs, and opportunities. While the capitalists want maximum production through the process of mechanization, this we have seen, the capitalists always wanted higher levels of production. To achieve this, they adopted mechanization. According to Marxists, this kind of mechanization, wherein the machine replaced the man, the machine replaced the worker, or the machine replaced the labor, the Marxists felt that replacement of man or labor by the machine as part of the mechanization led to unemployment, underemployment, wage decline, and finally increase in the levels of poverty. So, one has to understand the influence of capitalist economy and the changes brought in by the capitalists in terms of mechanization and its impact in terms of unemployment, underemployment, and decline in the wages of the employees or the workers, and consequential increase in the poverty. They also felt that the poor sections of the society are unable to provide food for their children because of their poverty. And hence the question of surplus population emerged. This is the viewpoint of Marx. According to Marx, the main cause of surplus population was the wrong politics of the capitalists, and no other reason could be thought of, according to Marx, for the surplus population situation. Thus, surplus population was not due to rapid population growth, but only due to the capitalist system of economy. According to Marx, the blame for surplus population should be given to the capitalist system of economy rather than the rapid population growth. According to Marx, population growth is not related to the alleged ignorance of the poor. He went on to say that the population growth is a consequence of the capitalist economic system. So the debate is whether population growth is due to ignorance of the poor or is it due to capitalistic economic system. According to Karl Marx, the capitalist economic system was responsible for population growth and not the ignorance of the poor. Marx also pointed out that landlordism, unfavorable and high man-land ratio, uncertainty with regard to land tenure system, and several other similar reasons were the factors responsible for low food production. So here Marx gives the reasons for low levels of food production. According to him, the landlordism, unfavorable man-land ratio, you have more number of people depending on small piece of land. That kind of uneven ratio between man and land, and the uncertainty related to land tenure system were the factors responsible for low food production according to Marx. Marx also considered that population growth is a problem in certain places where production of food is inadequate. That means you have places with adequate food production, you have places with inadequate food production. According to Karl Marx, population growth emerged as a problem only in places where the production of food is inadequate. Now let us look at the response of Marx to the theory of Malthus. Some of the economists supported Marx theory, while some others, particularly the sociologists, argued against the viewpoints of Marx related to population. According to those scholars who opposed the view of Marx, particularly the sociologists, the widespread poverty and misery of the working class was not due to an external law of nature as proposed by Malthus, but to the misconceived organization of the society. Thus, they felt that the poverty among the working class is because of the misconceived organization of the society. Karl Marx went one step further beyond the argument put forth by the sociologists, and he also argued that starvation is caused by unequal distribution of wealth because the wealth got accumulated with the capitalists. So wealth accumulation by the capitalists leading to unequal distribution of wealth was the cause of starvation according to Karl Marx. According to Karl Marx, starvation has nothing to do with the population size and growth. Thus, Marx felt that population size and growth have no impact on the starvation and poverty of the people. The problems of overpopulation and limits to the resources. These were documented well by Malthus as the features associated with the capitalist system of production. Thus, overpopulation and limited resources were documented by Malthus, and the features associated with the capitalist system of production were highlighted by Karl Marx. Thus, dear students, in this module, we looked into the importance given to population size and growth for several centuries by the scholars, thinkers, and scientists. And we also looked into the kind of importance given to population as a subject across various cultures. We also looked into the thinking of several philosophers and scholars about the population issues in a direct way or in an indirect way. We also looked into the views of Karl Marx about population, though he did not come out with a specific theory of population. We looked into the definition of surplus population, and we also looked into the views of Karl Marx on the population theories and the limitations of these theories according to Karl Marx. We looked into the relation between population growth and production of subsistence. We also looked into the views of Marx about production of subsistence and the capitalism, and we also looked at the issues relating to employment, namely unemployment, underemployment, and wage decline, and the role of population growth in determining the employment related factors such as unemployment, underemployment, and wage decline. We also looked into the views of Karl Marx about poverty, surplus population, and ability of the people, particularly the poor sections, to provide food for their children. We also looked into the views of Karl Marx about the factors responsible for surplus population, namely the politics of the capitalists. And we also looked into the views of Karl Marx about the factors responsible for starvation, namely the unequal distribution of wealth. We also looked into the perceptions of Karl Marx about starvation and its relation with population size and growth. The question was the role of population size and growth on starvation, and Karl Marx gave his views on this vital aspect as well. We also looked into the response of Karl Marx on the theory of population put forth by Malthus. We also looked into the kind of differences in the thinking process of Karl Marx and Malthus. Thus, dear students, this module helped us in enriching our knowledge about the population theories with specific reference to Karl Marx and his views on population size, population growth, etc. So, thank you so much.